All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off first and foremost by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachachadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, love, salutations to those that do this work in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Nathaniel, coming back at you again with a quick lesson. And this one we're going into Title 4D child support. Now, I know this is a topic that a lot of men experience. Elder Malcolm goes into it a lot, you know, and, I suffer from it too. The big scam of child support, you know, which, as the brother Arrows of Indignation, um, he put up a video in regard to Title 4D child support, and it's a good video, okay, because it shows you how the state gets a kickback for every dime that they collect in child support, which is a conflict of interest. Because if it's on the one hand, it's for the children, why is the state getting paid to collect child support? Okay, if the state is making money in federal dollars to collect child support, that means that the state is incentivized to actually collect from each person as many as possible. Okay, and this is exactly what we have. So basically, Title 4D is a big ass fraud. It has nothing to do with the children. And see, because women are stupid, and that's just what it is. Women are fucking stupid, and they've been seduced by the serpent. They think that it's something beneficial for them, not realizing that the state is keeping majority or a portion of that child support, and then they're getting federal funds. And what's happening as a result of it is it's tearing apart your family. Okay, because that's all that happens in the end. Is these women are incentivized to put you on child support so they can do whatever the fuck they want to do. And excuse my French, because that's exactly what they want to do. Most of these women out here want to ride the cock carousel. They don't want to be under authority. They want to be heady and high-minded and all that stuff. Okay, that's what they want to do. All right. They don't understand what order. Like, order creates security. All right. Boundaries create safety. And these women don't want security. They don't want safety. They don't want that. They think that being free and being a whore and being whatever it is that you want to be is actually what creates security and safety. All right. Not looking at the world around them saying, well, you know what? These four walls that I call a home actually makes me safe from the elements, from the rain, from the snow, from the wind, from hot weather, from cold weather, right? These four walls keep me safe. It creates a level of security, not understanding that those four walls are actually ordered. The house is built in a certain manner, okay, to keep it balanced, to keep it structurally integral, so it can withstand the wind and the rain and the snow and the sun, okay. And it's the same with being under authority. Authority keeps a certain integrity to keep you safe from certain situations that you don't have to deal with. And these women don't want that shit, okay. They're so stupid that they don't understand that, hey, there's certain things, certain order that you have to have in order for security of yourself. That's why the scriptures talk about how these women are careless. Okay? They listen to the niceties and the delusion of the system and not understanding the destruction that they're stepping in, the destruction that they're walking towards. Okay? And then you have these single parent homes and it's just a domino effect. Okay? You got this again. You got this guy Shahid Bolson. Again, I saw a video of him talking about a woman. This, and I was looking like, man, this. You see, this is how you know when a person can particularly be bought off when they sound good at first, but then they start to change their rhetoric, right? So you got this dude Shahid Bolson, and I watched the video of it yesterday. I'm not gonna play it, but he's basically talking about how a woman can raise a man. No, the hell, a woman can't raise a man. A woman cannot raise a man. A woman cannot raise a strong man. It's not possible for a woman to do that. Okay, not at least not one in Babylon, not one in America. Now, I can see this. Say for instance, you have a woman that has a child with a man that she was under his authority, and she enjoyed being under this man's authority. She was obedient to it. She didn't see a problem with it, and she adopted that man's will. She adopted what this man wanted, and she knew his will like the back of his hand. Like we're supposed to know the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. She knew how this man was, how he would behave, what he wanted, and something tragic happened to him, and they had a son that was 5 or 6 years old. But she knew this man, and she raised this man, this little boy, okay, according to the will of the man that she lost. Now, I can see something like that happening, but is that happening in America? No. Okay, can that happen? Yeah, that can happen. But in America, you don't have any type of male authority in these females' minds to where they look at a man with admiration and love and integrity and say, you know what, I want to adopt this man's will. So if something was to happen to him, his child can be raised in his stead. Now, and even with something like that, it's still not going to be 100% without the physical man being there. But can it be close? Yeah, you know. However, in the grand scheme of things, a woman cannot raise a man. All right, and this system, this child support, this Title 4D system, reinforces the idea that women will raise boys. Okay, that will not have manly attributes, masculine attributes, that will have feminine attributes. Okay, that's pretty much what this society raises, men like that in Babylon. Okay, due to certain systems that are in place, and Title 4D child support is one of them. Okay, they make it to where you can't be involved in your child's life. The woman feels like she has all the control because the state, as they're about to say in this video, the state gives the child to the most insecure parent, to the one that doesn't have the ability to raise the child the right way. They give it to the person that has the ability to pay. They take it away from the person that has the ability to pay, and more often than not, it's the man that has the ability to pay and not the woman. Okay. So I'm going to start off with a quick precept. This is Nahum 3:1. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery, and the prey departeth not. Okay? When a man goes to work and work his ass off and your money's forcibly taken from you by the state against your will, what do you call that? That's robbery. And this child support system originally was created for Jake, okay, who was the prey of Esau Edom. But eventually, just like everything else, when Esau Edom, the so-called white man, makes something exclusively for Jake, guess what ended up happening? You end up falling in that same ditch yourself. He that diggeth the pit falleth in the pit for himself. He that rolleth a stone, the stone gonna roll back on you. Okay? As the scriptures say, you think that you're being clever creating all of these different programs to trap Jake, but then what happens? It backfires on your ass, and these same systems have your women collecting child support from your ass. Okay? So we're gonna play this video real quick. Brother Arrow from Arrows of Indignation, is a good video, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it. If you ain't subscribed to this brother channel, I highly recommend you subscribe to this brother's channel.
There's a federal law called Title 4D. It was passed in the late 1970s. This is the cause of the divorce explosion in the 1980s and the creation of, there were no family courts in the early 1980s. They didn't exist. They were created specifically because of Title 4D. Title 4D provides for matching funds for the collection of child support. So I don't know about Virginia, but I know about Texas. In Texas, it's $500 million. It's $480 to $520 million per year. The more,
and that's not including the fees that they charge the women to actually use that card that they send them. They charge them women a fee to have that, and the processing fees. When you go to their website to pay child support, you got to pay a processing fee. Now you got 10 million men, which is a lot more than that, or 10 million people, mainly men, paying child support, and they're paying it monthly, and they're paying a $3.50 fee just to make the payment. Well, how much is that? That's $350 million. I'm sorry, $35 million a month, and that's just on the low end. And then when you add up the money that they're stealing from people's paycheck, plus the fees that they're charging the women for having that child support card, another $350 a month, right? I mean, $3.50 a month. That's like $70 million a month. That's just on the fees. That's not even talk. And I know because I pay child support when you go to to the DHS app. There's a fee for actually paying the child support.
Child support that's issued, the more money the state gets in reimbursements. The more it collects, the more it gets in reimbursements. The entire Texas Attorney General's office is funded by the child support collection matching funds from Title 4D. Texas actually has a law in the Texas Government Code which requires all judges to rule in cases in such a way to maximize Title 4D reimbursements. Wow. Before anything is heard in case. This explains a lot of peculiar things in family court. Family court's known for giving custody to the dysfunctional parent. And they just do it consistently. They do it all the time. I watched a case ahead of mine one time, and they gave 2 children back to a heroin addict mother who had successfully passed the drug test after 15 days for the first time. Oh my God. Okay. What was the alternative? Why would they do that? That makes no sense. Why do they do it? Here's why they do it. The state knows full well it will never collect child support from a heroin addict. Oh. And all that matching money, they don't get it. Got it. They know that the responsible parent will bankrupt themselves to protect their child and to take care of their child, and they'll get all the matching money for that. So the decision in family court doesn't come down to, are you a fit and willing parent? If that were the case, then in 99% of the cases, you would have both parents getting 50-50 custody because both parents are fit and willing. Yeah. So what they do is they say, which person here will give me the maximum Title IV reimbursement for the state? Wow. And that's the person who loses custody so that they pay child support. That's the real calculation that's going on. You mentioned CPS, and if you're looking at laws around this, you need to know about Title IV-E. Title IV-E gives reimbursements for taking children. Huh. So when the state takes a child from a family, they get a Title IV-E reimbursement just like Title IV-D. Here's how it works in Texas. You'll get a satellite office in a rural county of Texas that's running low on budget. They'll look for a child to low IQ parents, under 18 months of age, but they'll go as high as 2 with no medical problems, and they'll go and take their children. They usually do it through subterfuge. They do a well check, and they bring along an extra party that they don't tell the parents or a psychologist. Mm-hmm. The psychologist, unbeknownst to them, is doing a psych eval and recommends taking the children. They take the children. Within 6 months, the child is adopted out, and that satellite office gets $250,000 in budget money.
Well, thousands pay child support, but News 5
Do you hear that shit? This is why this whole entire system needs to be burnt. Okay? Because let's read this Nahum again. Okay? Woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery, and the prey departeth not. Everything in this system, everything, down to the food, to the schools, to the water, okay, to the governmental systems, everything is nothing but robbery and fraud. Everything is designed to extract wealth out of the everyday person. Okay? You are forced tributaries, okay, under these wicked rulers that we have in this world. You are forced tributaries. They force you to contribute to their evil. Okay? This is I mean, if anybody wants to stay in America, even if you ain't in the truth, you need to be burned with this place, man. And you're going to be burned with this place. Okay? Because this whole entire system is just completely wicked. They design a system to take your children away for profit. I mean, how evil can you get? And you heard what he said. He said that they get a low IQ person, somebody, 2 parents that really don't know what's going on, They send a psychologist, which means that, and really legally, you ain't got to let the psychologist into your house. You ain't got to let the police into your house doing a well check. You're not invited in my house, because that's the thing. You have to allow them. Once they're in, they're in. But if it's the same with everything. They gotta provide a warrant to come into your home. And if you let them in willingly, you just gave them authority. And a lot of people don't know that. Okay? A lot of people don't realize that you can deny CPS from coming into your home. All right? But they don't tell you that. That's what I'm saying, man. This whole entire system is just completely corrupt. And me personally, I am suffering from Title 4D. I just had got into an accident a couple years back, and I was going to court. I went to court and won a settlement. Right? They took. At first, I wasn't gonna sign off on a settlement at all. I said, you know what? I ain't signing off on nothing. Okay, because it's the only thing that's gonna happen is the state is gonna take it. All right. And they said, well, if you don't sign it, the state gonna take it anyway. I said, well, it's better for me not to have nothing. No. He said that if I don't sign it, then they're gonna pull back the offer. And I was like, I don't care because I don't want the state to take it. He said, man, let me negotiate with the state. They still took about 75% of that money. Now here it is. I live in Georgia. This is the case in Michigan. I never even been to court for this. Okay, I never sat before a judge. None of that. I never had a DNA test. I was living in Georgia when the court was when the court when the living in Georgia when the order was issued, and I remember it like the fraud. Like I was in I got pulled over, and an officer arrested me for some BS. That I was fresh from Michigan into Georgia, and I was coming home from work, and I got arrested. Right? He said that he found a baggie in my car. Said that it was marijuana, but it wasn't nothing in the bag. Okay, so um, just because he found that, he arrested me. Well, I went to they put me in a holding tank, and they kept me in a holding tank for 2 weeks. At the end of the second week, some black guy came down, and they pulled me into a private room, and the guy said, "Hey, I need you to sign some paperwork." Now, at this particular moment, I'm under what you would call duress because I've been in jail for 2 weeks, and I haven't seen an attorney. I don't know why I'm in the jail for so long because they haven't even presented me with any type of evidence that because the case ended up getting dismissed, right? And he take me to the back, and he says, "Hey, I need you to sign this form." And I said, "Is this getting me out of jail?" He said, "Yeah, it couldn't hurt. I remember our conversation." So he told me where to sign it at, and I didn't read it. I signed it, and then he left. About 2 days later, like another whole 2 days, is when they let me out finally, right? So I get out of jail, and I go back home, and I start going back to work again, right? About 3 months later, they start taking money out of my paycheck, and I'm like, "What the hell? Are they taking money out of my paycheck for?" I didn't pay it no mind because it was only like $22, $30 here and there, but it was from Title 4D. This guy came, and now here it is, years later in Georgia. This is 22 years later because this was in 2004 when this happens. This is 22 years later. They took my money last year. Well, actually, this year it was a couple months ago. About 2 months ago, they took a big chunk of my settlement money, and then uh, they continue to threaten to suspend my license. Okay, if I don't pay these people money that I don't even owe them. I literally don't have any connection to the child. She just went to the court and said, "This is his baby," in the state of Michigan, and that was it. And they started pursuing me for child support. This is how corrupt this system is. No, no. Now I do have a child in Michigan where I did take a DNA test for, and it came back to be mine. So I understand that. But this particular child, there's no genetic evidence whatsoever. I never even been to court. I was living in Georgia at the time that the court date was actually that the court date was actually issued. But do they care? No. They even break their own laws, you see? So Title 4D is a very destructive piece of legislation that they put into place fraudulently, because as Elder Malcolm teaches it, I never, went into it myself, but I hear him all the time saying that child support Title 4D is under a foreign treaty, it's under a Hague, which is repugnant against the U.S. Constitution. But yet it's enforced by the states. You see? So this is nothing but fraud all the way around. And people don't understand the depths that this goes, And then they got people so dumbed down and nobody's willing to fight to stop this. Okay? Because this isn't going to be something that you can just because there's no remedy for it. Okay? Once they get you in this, you can't get out of it. This is how bad it is. These people are desperate to rob you and enslave you, and they be on your ass your whole life until you pay them money that ain't even theirs for a child that they got laws now where the child ain't even yours, and they'll start collecting money from you, and even if you prove that the child isn't yours, they still gonna collect the money from you because they want their money from somebody. Okay. That's why the Lord gonna burn the shit out of this place, and that's why people are gonna be relentlessly evil to y'all people. You're not gonna get no mercy, okay? Because you don't show mercy. Y'all all you people in y'all so-called black robes, y'all get behind that demonic ass altar that you call a courthouse or judges, chambers or whatever. And you get the behind that thing with that black robe on. And you just enforce this shit, knowing behind closed doors that this shit is wicked and illegal. But I'm somebody that's suffering from this. So I got 3 kids that I take care of right now, and they don't even consider the children that you have. They didn't even say, okay, well, he had 3 kids, he pays this much in rent, this is how much money. No, they don't care about that. Okay? No, this is how much money you make. Okay, this is the percentage that we taking. We don't care about whatever else you got going on in your life. That's why I said this place I brought out that Nahum, and I read it twice because it pretty much sums it up. It's robbery, it's fraud.
Investigates discovered their payments don't always go to the custodial parent or the child.
Chief investigative reporter Eric Ross found evidence of the Department of Human Services keeping the cash for themselves. Eric.
Robin Elizabeth, that's right. Our 2-month-long investigation found money that's supposed to support children going right back into the state's pocketbook. Nicholas Turner and Audrey Mead have a 2-year-old daughter. Although the couple is not together anymore, Turner wants to be part of his daughter's life and pays child support. Money he expects to go to his ex.
Money's going missing as I'm paying it.
Turner noticed not all of the money he was paying ended up in Mead's account. Court documents show he is supposed to pay $366 every month beginning in May 2017. He admits he missed a payment in May, but tried to make the situation right the following month. Accounting ledgers show Turner sent Mead a total of $766 through the online child support payment system, yet the state only deposited $366 into Mead's account.
No one can tell me where the money is going.
Between June 1st and the end of October, Turner paid a total of $1,935 in child support, but News 5 Investigates learned his ex only received $1,386. So where did the remaining $549 end up? We spent weeks attempting to follow the money trail, and while the Department of Human Services would not tell us specifically where it was deposited, they did tell us they kept it. Their reason, Miss Mead also receives food assistance from the state, which means she allegedly waived her right to collect past due child support. In cases like this, the state doesn't charge interest or a penalty fee like most credit card companies would. Instead, the state keeps it. All of it. Ironic, since the mission of the Colorado Child Support Services Program is to assure that all children receive financial and medical support from each parent.
When you're expecting the payment and it doesn't show up, it puts a lot of stress on both me and my ex.
I've lived paycheck to paycheck my entire working career. I'm 32. And, it doesn't take much math to realize that I could go under in 1 month. And that money, I worked very hard for it. And if it's not going where it needs to be, then what's the point of the program?
In addition to losing child support money, Mead lost out on tax credits and money through TANF, also known as Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. Those benefits were rejected because of her income from child support she never received.
I can't be the only one who seems blown away by this. There's probably people out there that are not amicable with their exes and don't talk and just think that their ex is not paying the child support.
A DHS spokesperson reiterates because Ms. Mead receives other financial assistance, federal guidelines allow the state to keep child support payments, but only if they are paid late. The spokesperson goes on to say,
Do y'all hear that bullshit? Oh, so if I say, for instance, the payment is due on Wednesday, but I don't get paid until Friday, because of that 2-day difference, they get to keep all the money. You hear that shit? Man.
that
What you doing, man?
information is relayed to parents who apply for assistance, but Rob and Elizabeth, the state could not provide us any documentation to either me, Miss Mead, or Mr. Turner to back up that claim.
Yet we have single mothers asking why fathers don't like child support when the state...
Look, women are stupid. Period, point blank. Women in America are just dumbass, superficial creatures. Okay? Who don't take the time to look into why things are the way they are. They only care about the benefit. They don't care about all of the nuances that come from that benefit. They don't care about that shit. Okay? They don't care about the hurt or the struggles that come from a person who has to go through this shit. Okay? This is why y'all women are going to suffer. You see right here in this little thumbnail, it says disaster war. Okay? You see a women regrets divorce instantly. Look, let me tell you something. Y'all women are going to get it very bad. The Lord is going to put a spirit on these men out here to hate you. Okay? To hate your ass. The same hateful ass spirit that you've been having toward the men for these last 70 years plus, this shit is going to come back full circle on your ass. All right? And when all hell break loose and the men are now needed to be in a position to protect you, these men are going to, just like you sided with the devil, the men are going to side with your fucking destruction. Okay? That's what's about to happen. All right? You see an uptick more and more of men saying, I'd rather go to jail than let this woman live, or whoop her ass. Okay? Because y'all women out here are just totally through. Anyway, let's bring out some more precepts. All right, so we're gonna go to Ecclesiasticus. Let's go to the book of Sirach. Hopefully it pops up. (34 and 22). And see, this precept right here applies to y'all women, not just Esau. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. It says, this is verse 21. It says, the bread of the needy is their life. Okay, these men out here are needy. And their labor is how they get their bread. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. So you women out here are joined onto this wicked ass devil that's out here robbing these men and these people, and even some of you men out there that are robbing these women through this system. Okay? You are the Lord considers you a blood shedder. Okay? You are a man of blood. You are a thief. Okay? You are a murderer. Because you make it very difficult, if not impossible, for a person to get those things that they need in order to live. That's why it's likened onto that. When you steal somebody's money and you steal somebody's labor from them, you are in essence causing that person to suffer. That could possibly cause. What if a person needs medical treatment for something, and they would have enough money for the medical treatment, but you got them on child support, and this child support is just taking all their damn money from them, huh? And then that person ends up getting sick and dies. What was the underlying cause of their death outside of the sickness? The fact that they could not get treatment because you stole their money from them. Because you just had to have it your way. Okay? You couldn't reconcile with the man so y'all can be a family and take care of the children together. That would have made it easier for both of you all. No. What did you do? You wanted to go out there and this is most of y'all females out there. Y'all just want to get y'all back broke. Y'all feel like liberation is sitting on as many dicks as y'all can in y'all whole life. Oh, I'm liberated. I'm free. I can just sit on any type of dick that I want to sit on. I can ride the cock carousel infinitely. That's liberation to you. That's what you call freedom. Being able to just sleep around with all these different men out here. Having all these different babies by different people. That's liberation for a female. You know? Dumbass shit. That's why I say female women are fucking stupid, man. Like, who in their right mind thinking out here that having babies by different men getting putting these men on child support is liberating? You dirty, you filthy. That's why look, we are here. It's not even a question of all hell breaking loose. It's breaking loose right now. Those laces are coming untied. And the most vulnerable people that's gonna be out here is y'all women. And I can't wait. I really can't. I cannot wait till the shoes on the other foot. You think these men out here are gonna be merciful? No. You weren't merciful. Okay? You's a woman of blood. Okay, you deprived the father and the child for your own benefit. And how many times do we find out that the child support don't even go to the child anyway? How often do we find that out? That the money that you've been paying doesn't even go for the child. Okay, in my case, right? That was in 2004 when they put the order in. It's 2026. The boy is like 24 years old now. Where does the money go that they're still taking from me to this day? You see what I'm saying? You're just taking money from me for what? Verse 22 says, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. Now this applies to wages, and this applies to these deductions, like Title 4D child support, that they take out your check. And it says, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a bloodshedder. Okay? You people are nothing but thieves and bloodshedders, man. That's all you do. It's just steal. Okay? You can't get what you need from merit. You have to be someone to rob other people in order to build your wealth. Okay? You can't be integral and honest. All right? Man, that's why the system is coming down. Everything that Esau put his hands to is being torn down right before your eyes. The Lord is throwing this shit down. And y'all women have been an integral part in building this man's system. Especially you black women. Y'all have been an integral part of building this man's system. On the depravity and the oppression of the so-called black man. Okay? And am I saying that Jake is righteous? Hell no, I ain't saying that. But what I am saying is that this system used y'all to tear down Jake. Okay? And y'all Latino and Native American women, y'all follow suit too, because y'all follow y'all big sister, the nigga woman. Okay? Y'all want to do everything this damn nasty, sloppy bitch want to do. Okay? follow the damn nigger woman and the nigger woman following the white woman. Okay? But it's just about over with now. I got one more precept. We're going to go ahead and close out and finish my rant. This is the book of Isaiah, the 10th chapter. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Is not Title 4D child support a grievous thing? Look at the damage that is done. Isn't it not an unrighteous decree? Isn't it unfair? Look, I'm going to tell you how unfair this is. Say, for instance, you're a man who has a child and you've been taking care of your child, buying your child stuff. The woman is a greedy bitch, right? And she feels like she deserves more access to the money that you're making. So she decides to take you to court and get a big portion of your check. She wins. While you're at the court, you say, yeah, but I give her this, I give her that, I give her this. And they say, well, you know what? Those are gifts. The money that you have paid, the money that you gave her, all the things and care that you gave to the child, that didn't count. Those are gifts. That has nothing to do with the money that we're taking. Oh, and on top of that, you got to pay retroactively. So we're going to go back and take money from you. So now you owe us 10 bands. What? But I've been there since the child is. We don't care. You owe us 10 bands, bruh. Tell me if that's not an unrighteous decree. Tell me if that's not grievousness. Huh? Tell me if that's not unfair. That's the system. And see, these women out here, they support that system because that system caters to them. It caters to the matriarchal spirit that these women have. Not realizing that y'all destroying yourselves. That's why the scripture says, wisdom was not given unto her, neither was understanding. Okay, the woman don't even understand what she's participating in. You know, and then they get upset when you say, well, you know, you just don't get it, you don't understand. You know, well, yeah, no, you don't. You stupid. Your whole mind is wrapped up in emotions, and you're looking at all these candy wrappers, and they're so bright and shiny. Ooh, shiny. But underneath it is poison. But you don't care about the poison underneath the wrapper. You just want the wrap. You just want the candy. Okay? You don't care that this is an unrighteous decree, that is grievous, not for just for the man, but also for the child. But because you benefit in the short term, it's cool. But in the long term, nobody benefits. Okay? Verse 2, it says, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people. A man has a right to have access to his seed. A man has a right to be a part of his child's life without having to pay. That's his God-given right. If anything, the woman should be taken out of the way, not the man, because the man is the one that plants the seed. The woman is the incubator. Sure, does she contribute? Absolutely, she does. However, at the end of the day, the man has more right to the child than the woman does. But it's this wicked ass system that changes all of that, that turns it all around. So you deprive the poor of the Lord's people from their natural rights, from the rights that they should have. Okay? That widows may be their prey. You prey on the female because you know that she's stupid. You know that the woman can't get it. You know that she's driven by her emotions. This is why you target her. Okay? And that they may rob the fatherless. This is why you separate families, so you can have better access to those women that don't have a man in the house. Okay? This is why you do that. And then you play trickery. You make it seem like they're getting a benefit. And in most cases, they do get a benefit. But it's temporary. It's all temporal. About time these women realize and wake up that all this stuff was just a scam in the first place, the child is already destroyed. And they don't even get it. They don't even get it. They don't see the damage that they're doing. And this is why, guess what? When all hell break loose, you know what? I'm just gonna get it real quick, and we're gonna close it out on that. I was gonna close it on this, but we're gonna close it on that. I'm gonna go to, is it Micah? Micah 7:10. It says, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it," because y'all women are literally the enemy. Okay, you are the enemy of the man. All right. You do not. This is one of the reasons why Isaiah 4:1 is about to come into play, because it says, "Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where's Yahweh thy power?" Because all this time they think just because the man is in the lowest state, he ain't got no strength to do anything, that he's gonna stay that way. Okay? But this is why Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come into play. Because that shame is their reproach. And you're gonna have a lot of women wanting to get that approach, that reproach taken away. Because this is the judgment that's gonna come for you all. And see, the thing about women is that when they don't feel like there's no consequence for their actions, they'll do whatever the fuck they want to do. But when they realize that there is a strict consequence for their actions, oh, they be in line quick. They be in line quick. Okay? They think they big and bad until they see, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is, hey, I'm about to be destroyed. I'm about to be hurt. Things are gonna be taken from me. I could potentially be raped. I need a man to protect me. I don't care about all these other women anymore. Only thing I care about is the fact that he can protect me. I don't even care if he can provide for me. That's what Isaiah 4:1 is talking about. I will wear my own. I will eat my own bread and wear my own apparel. Just let me be called by thy name to take away my reproach. Okay, because this is going to be a hellish condition that we're entering into, and you're gonna have a certain men that the Lord are going to protect, and these women gonna see it. They're not gonna care. But for the majority of y'all women, oh, y'all getting boot to ass. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire in the streets. Okay? You're going to be stomped on. You're going to be treated like the piece of shit you are. Okay? A destructive demon that don't care about nothing but herself. Don't care about nothing but her own benefit. Okay? You even got these ugly fat hoes out here thinking that they about something nowadays. This is how far this madness has gone. Okay? And then y'all simp ass men out there who cater to these type of women, y'all gonna be destroyed too. Okay? Because we're entering into a time where the Lord is gonna require masculine men. Men of the Lord. Okay? Men with freaking testosterone coming out of their pores, man, because it's so abundant. Not this damn effeminate thing where you're sitting here taking what these women throwing at you. It is not going to be so anymore. The Lord is about to turn things right side up. And in doing so, what happens when you take something and you turn it right side up from upside down? It's going to get shaken up. Okay? There's going to be a chaos for a brief moment. And that's exactly what's about to happen. All right? And you women, y'all going to be at the brunt of it. So with that, I'm going to end this lesson off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Nekar Kadosh. Double honors to our elders and the apostles, grand millstones, to the next time, I say shalom.